available. So we saw the sun today in St. John's, but we'd been waiting for weeks, it seems. The rain and overcast weather can impact the mental health of some people. We've all heard the term seasonal affective disorder, but it's not usually associated with this time of year. Some of us have been suffering with it. Joining us now to talk about it is Dr. Janine Hubbard. Dr. Hubbard, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much, Dave.
How does long periods of dreary weather impact our moods and motivation?
Well,
tell us about some of the symptoms.
Well, it's interesting, and full disclosure, I find the spring and the prolonged periods of fog and very little sunshine and cold weather affect me more than a lot of the winter symptoms. So it may not have an official diagnosis. We might want to label it the uary effect, but we do know that there are people who are significantly affected by lack of access to sunlight, particularly over the winter. So it's things like lethargy and lack of energy and just wanting to cocoon and stay at home and, not necessarily getting the exercise or the activities, wanting to eat carbohydrates and junk food. And I think there is a little bit of overlap for those of us here in the province when we get these prolonged periods in the spring of RDF and particularly that fog and lack of access to light.
How prevalent is it, among the population? I guess maybe in a place like St. John's, maybe more so than others.
Well, there is a very serious form of depression that can fall under this, but the estimates are about 15 to 30% of us. And we don't know exactly why this happens, but there seems to be some relationship between the amount of sunlight exposure or vitamin D exposure and our serotonin and our melatonin, which are the neurotransmitters that control things like our mood and our sleep. So in the same way that we handle things in the winter, what I'd suggest is day like today where we had a couple of hours of sunshine, get outside if you can, drop the things, take a break, go for a walk. Embrace it whenever we get those moments. Some people do benefit from vitamin D. Always check with your pharmacist or physician because it can interfere with some meds. Some people find use of phototherapy or the light therapy helpful. I will often pull it out this time of year. And as much as you can, fight that urge to just want to stay home, and also be careful because if you're comparing, at least in other years, weather across the country and go, look at, they've got their spring planting done and look at all the lovely weather, that can help from a comparison perspective. This year, maybe we take it in some stride and say, well, I'd rather the damp, wet, cold fog than forest fires and smoke.
Dr. Hubbard, thanks so much for this.
Thanks, Dave.